Greetings, beloved human family. I am Gilles Mansillon. I send blessings and greetings. Welcome. I wanted to come briefly to do a little tarot reading, a card reading, to look at the energetic condition for this month of February. I wish that the tarot may answer, give us the highest wisdom, both on the individual level as it relates to all those who will watch this video, as well as a collective vision, so that we may better understand the great deal of change and shift that is coming. In a sense, we are experiencing more and more contrast in 3D, the black and white nature of things. Before I put on the card, I wanted to make a few comments. Is that it is there may be more conflict that will be coming up, because those things need to come up to the surface. For, in essence, this world is, people are not happy in this world. They've been asking for change, so change can come sometimes through harmony, which is usually wanted, but sometimes chaos is needed to create, to disassemble the old parameter that did not work. In order, we have to have the trust that from chaos order will come, a new order, a new form of self-empowerment, where each person will be fulfilled and satisfied. For in essence, what we are looking for in this world, I am looking for in this world. The first thing is that to get together with the whole of those who have the responsibility of this world, and to get a clear understanding that we want to create peace on the earth. That is the first thing. There is no need, if some leader is not intelligent enough to resolve a situation by through intellect, then we'll have to get someone else that has enough intelligence to resolve the problem without being brutal or violent. There's no more need for any of that. We are outgrowing this kind of power struggle, so to speak. Then the elimination of poverty throughout the whole planet, then the ecological restoration. Those will be the main theme of the coming years. And then after that, the fun will begin, because once we have peace, we have eliminated all the basic needs, and we have recreated a beautiful environment for us to live. Then there is no end. We'll be discovering the solar system and the galaxy. All kinds of things will open up to us once we achieve peace among ourselves. So peace and unity and love are the key essential aspect of ascension. No matter what, whether all religion have this they all have many ways of going about it. All spiritual ways. It is all about connecting to the essential source that is the source of all creation, to find a state of bliss, of happiness, of a paradisical state of union and communion with your Creator. For although most Western religions do not believe you can achieve that during your lifetime, most Eastern religion will tell you that this is the point of living, is to achieving that connection, that union, that perfect state of being and bliss. So it is a certain work that we need to do. We need to have faith that the universe is intelligent, and to focus on the gratitude for what we have, rather than to focus always on our problems and complain that life is not the way we want it. For life is exactly the way it needs to be, and if we do not like something, let's recreate something else. It is not, nobody's forced us to do anything, so we want to stop following like a robot what all those external power, all those external ideas, and sometimes the chaos, sometimes there is so much chaos on the outside world, it forces us to turn to the love within, to regain our sanity, our clarity, and our connectedness. So those are very important times for everyone. So we're moving towards a series of eclipses that will greatly accelerate the whole path and process. So if you have a chance, do rest now, because very soon the action when the action is going to stop, it's going to be it's going to keep going. It's going to be the news are going to, things are going to change rather quickly. So essentially the outcome of that reading, I'm going to read the last card first, is to understand what holds us back. See, it is in essence, it is someone that lives in a world in black and white and looking through a window beautiful color, but it feels like he's not able to go inside those colorful and beautiful experiments, and so he sees life as a postponement. The question is that what holds you back? And why not do what you need to do today to remove the obstacle that prevents you from experiencing life now? So now, or to prepare for whatever you want. So we're going to go back to that. For now, the potential is truly the sun. In Aries, we have the sun, the mastery, the innocence, the pure connection, the total fulfillment. Everything is possible. There is great possibility for amazing fulfillment and self-empowerment this month. And in Taurus, which is what we possess, what we own, what we have, is the essence, is the creator. It is a kind of self-empowerment. He's completely fulfilled and self-empowered. He has no need of desire. He has no need for anything but his light is. And then with his life, his life force is able to feel contentment within himself, and also the assurance of knowing that whatever is led to do, he will do it from a point of lucidity. So we have achieved a certain enlightenment, self-empowerment, and that allows us in Gemini to move into our thought process to friendliness, which is love, which is pure exchange of joy, freedom, lightness. There is so all of this is really seems quite light, quite happening, quite free, quite mentally. Yet we know that within our house, in our feeling center, which is in Cancer, we have this card called guilt. So guilt reminds us that we've been living in a world of illusions. We were dreamer, we were sleeper, and so while we were sleeping, we created with our thoughts, our words and actions, all kinds of distortions, all kinds of more or less negative, heavy things that. But then we forgot, and now we are awakening. Those things are coming back to us to hunt us in a way. It is like we feel hunted, like our past is always like trying to. But in a sense, those things are just coming here to be released. And so you do not want to judge yourself, and you do not want to judge others. You want to be the one that is able to create the healing and the freedom by forgiveness. It is very important to let go of remorse and guilt. Otherwise, you will never be able to move forward. And this card is within the home, the feeling center. So if this, but then also the discordance have to be coming to the picture in order for us to determine what we want. All those extreme contrast are sometimes we have to move through those things that are completely unwanted to realize that it is really not what we want, and then we make a change and we move back to what we want. Life is a constant transformative process. And so once we let go of that guilt, we find that everything we believe is crumbling down. For there's going to be some things in all the mental construct, the beliefs of humanity that will be painful to address, because the truth, in seeking to discover the truth, we have to understand that some truths that will be revealed in relation to this earth plane and the astral plane will not be. It is not just light, but there is also a lot of darkness that has to come to the light in order to be transmuted. So this will create a shock. And we'll feel very, we may feel for a time very oppressed, suppressed, like or feeling all this past that is coming back a little bit as a burden. But then in many ways we are used to it, because we have find comfort within the familiar, yet life is coming to push the boundaries, to make us go beyond, to give us the strength to fight, but not to fight against others or not to fight against ourselves, but to fight for our own freedom, to fight for the right of our soul to express love, to be lucid, and from there we can drop all the other fights, and then we find guidance. And then so all of those things are happening in Cancer. So, and I think the next full moon will be in Cancer. I'm not sure, but then this guidance, whenever you find the guidance, you want to be able to follow it. It's not always easy to to always be aligned with the guidance, no matter how good your intention. You don't always have the strength or the perspicacity or the so even if you fail in following whatever process you're trying to do, do not come down hard on yourself. Do not judge yourself. Do not punish yourself. Just understand you are just a child that is learning, and all of life is aware of that, except for the egos that are living their own program. But the whole universe is aware that we're here to learn and grow and progress together as one life, one soul, one experience that is moving through all kinds of everything experience. That is what life is about. So eventually we'll come to understand that joy, happiness, fulfillment and creativity are the most essential part of life, and we want to create the condition for everybody to experience that, so that we may be free to create a world that is ever better, ever more enjoyable, and create beautiful environment for the next generation as well, rather than leaving them tons of problems to deal with. So let's try to leave the planet better than we found it when we were born. And so for that we follow the guidance, we follow the inner voice. It's very important to pay attention to your dreams and to allow all the voices that are come up within ourselves, no matter how positive or negative they may be. The voices are all need to be heard. There is not a single point of view that should be suppressed. Every voice needs to be heard, otherwise we will not find the wisdom and the truth. As long as there is certain things that are being suppressed and not acknowledged, not recognized, even if those things are negative, they need to be recognized in order to be transmuted or integrated or aligned. So it is very much about acceptance and non-judgment, yet to be clear exactly on to have as much clarity as possible when it comes to knowing that you are guided towards something better, and so you can trust, which is the next card, is the card of trust that's in the heart, which is all the personal wills and desire, the passion. And so the more it's somebody that can just jump into the precipice because he knows there is nothing to fear. Fear is an illusion. If you fear, you are not living. If you're afraid of life, you're afraid of death, you're afraid of life, you're afraid of love, you're afraid of... Do not be afraid. Life is meant to be lived, and it was created for you to be experienced. So essentially, you do, as an eternal being, it doesn't matter. You're eternal and finite, so you can live eternally in this perfect bliss of being. And this is an important part of you that you want to connect to. It may be even essential to reconnect to that infinity part. Yet living on the earth, we have a responsibility to seize the day, to make the most of every day, to use as much as possible the opportunities that are given to us each and every day, and to be creative, to move forward with that, not to be shy, to be to go forth in life and to enjoy, to be light also, not to bring heavy energies to the pictures, no matter how dark things can be. Your mission may be to find humor in this and to lighten the mood if it's too heavy. So it's always a matter of balancing out, being able to be as neutral as possible in relationship to the consciousness, because nothing exists outside of consciousness. So whatever consciousness you are exposed to is to find what's the best potential. What if two people are in conflict, the best potential would be to leave them at peace with each other. But then if we are people who already having a good time together, then there may be a creative thing that can make this joy even better. So, and not to have expectation. You do things because your love cannot be indifferent. So, love has to express itself in order to grow, in order to become more, and that's why we came here to do. We were eternal soul and finite being, and although it's paradoxal, but by coming here we become even more. We discover more of that infinity. We will return home more than the way we left it. As more, it will be more than what we were before we even started this whole program of participating in this Earth adventure, as through the process of reincarnation. In terms of health, on how we nourish ourselves, both on the physical and the spiritual level, here we have this beautiful card of control. control tells you that there is certain things you can control and other things you cannot control. So it's about letting go of this idea of control so that you can move into the flow, yet to keep your lower aspect, not to let your ego or your lower aspect dominate you. So that's why you keep a certain control, but you do not suppress your ego. You do not suppress all those things that, even if there are things that you know are bad for you, you do not want to deprive your ego of all experiences that is so familiar, so comfortable with, but you want to move progressively towards a path that is more integrated, more pleasant. So it is the moment where the soul is actually educating the senses to become more attuned and to allow the process to take place, so that we can move towards a better reality. So there is a certain sense, certain things have to be controlled, other things have to be let go. It is everybody's got to find that out for themselves. In terms of in Libra, which is the world of relationships, personal and business, and all those aspects of collective reality, we have healing. So that is a wonderful card. For, like I said, sometimes in order to heal, we have to go through great chaos. We have to trust that things will come into alignment. For now, healing is about accepting the wounds. We cannot heal a wound if we suppress it. So it's about allowing the pain to come up. I know it's not something you want to hear, but if you have inner pain, you want to feel them as much and as not as long, but as quickly as possible. You want them to come up for you so that you can release them as quickly as possible. Of course, if you have a lot of pain, you will be liberated little by little. For we all have come to live many lifetimes here, and so we have accumulated a lot of those wounds, and so they are being released one at a time, and at the end, freedom will come. Which in Scorpio, from the inner self, the subconscious, the inner depths, comes completion, which is the card of the universe. It's a beautiful card. It is finding once you complete your own piece in the process, then you are in your place. You stand to be counted by the universe. You are ready to be utilized by the spirit. So that, but there is no more. You've completed your process, and this is an inner thing that is happening. So it is quite beautiful. I hope you enjoy that this month. You find this gratitude for this completion that is coming up, and for when there is those sometimes wonderful energy. We're always really quick to complain about whatever happens that we do not like in our life, but we're not as quick to express gratitude when good things happen, usually. It's a general aspect, but it's not a judgment, it's just an observation. As a human, I see that in myself. So I'm working on it to experience more gratitude, to be more in gratitude for every breath I take, for the simple fact that our heartbeat and we are able to breathe oxygen is just a gift, and everything else is a plus from that. And then in terms of philosophy, in terms of law, we are this month in Sagittarius, we have the great teacher, the great void. So it means like it's the unknown, it's the great mystery, it's the great teacher. There is no certainties of the future except our faith to know that things will go right. For if we do not have that faith and we project worries and fear, then the universe will provide those experiences to let us work through those fear and so that we may learn the lesson we need to learn. But from the void, we are able to create anything. So I would definitely recommend to trust yourself, to trust others, to trust life. For life is far more intelligent than any single entity, individuality. For life is one, and it sees everything. It is everywhere. It sees everything. It knows everything. It's always been there. It has never forgotten anything, and it is completely aware of of each and every one of us, all the intricacy of our uniqueness and how important, how beautiful, how special we all are. And no one in the whole universe can replace us in this mission that is being us. That's all that we have to do, is to know who we are and to become that, to rediscover this sacred truth essence, and to allow this sacred essence to remain void enough to let that essence manifest through us, and from there incredible miracles can happen. And what comes to us from the universe, to confirm what I just says, on Capricornus, it is the card of turning within. So it is a card that is someone that is looking for this ocean of peace within himself. He's got all those voices outside of him that is those voices that are trying to really distract him, but they're not really succeeding, because he's really turned inside. So take your time to meditate. For this world always projects us tension and negativity. There is all kinds of things that we know, and there's a lot of things that are happening that are completely unconscious, but they do project stress into our life. And so we need to pacify ourselves like a little baby. We'll use a little pacifier. And as adults, we use other things. We use sugar, television, cigarette, drugs, alcohol, all kinds of things. But yet the most profound pacifier to regain emotional comfort is we'll come to realize, but it's by turning inside, and meditation is the most powerful of all those, because that's the only one that doesn't have side effects, so to speak. So it is the most powerful pacifier, and this inner self, the more you tune into, the more you will discover that there is this place inside of you where you're eternally protected, eternally at peace, and there is always this potential for new discovery as well from this state of stillness inside. Then what comes in Aquarius, which is our wishes, our dreams, our traveling. Well, traveling would be more like Gemini, but in a sense I put the dreams in terms of travel. And here we are flowering. We do want to open up ourselves like flowers. We want to bloom. We want to know this lotus flower, to become the cause and the effect, to allow others also to discover the maximum potential, where they can find of course we do not, our sole responsibility is our own state of emotional well-being. We do not control anyone else's emotional frequency, but our own frequency has an impact on everybody else. So by maintaining that state of frequency, that state of void inside, or the state of receptivity, we are able to allow others, to create a space for others to come out of their mental process, and in order to observe, even if it's just for a moment, the possibility of discovering that higher self, that higher form, that higher vision, that higher sensation within themselves. And so, and in Pisces, which is the final, the karma, the inevitable, is a new vision. So that means really we're going to be forced to let go of all those things that we had to. It's the hangman in traditional tarot, but it's quite beautiful. It looks like a centaur. Not really, but it's a very powerful. It's about recreating, letting go of the old, and being ready to recreate something completely new. So that means it's not letting go of it's letting go of all the things that do not work, in accepting to carry with us whatever is left, but knowing that step by step we are moving towards something that is wanted. The key to that understanding is isolation. So it is a man that is that's frozen in the ice, and is crying. Is very, very sad, and is crying those tears of those rainbow tears that are dissolving the ice. The understanding is that we have to allow our pain to come. It's what I said in relation to this card of healing here in Libra. Is that we want to allow our pain to surface, not to dwell in it, or we do not have whatever makes those painful things. They don't have to make us sad and go into doom or gloom and go in a descending spiral. It's just to allow the feeling to come and And by allowing this feeling to come to you, you acknowledge it, and by acknowledging it, as soon as you recognize it for what it is, it is healed. It is once the emotion has delivered its message, then you are free from it. But as long as we go around it, we refuse to face certain things, then the isolation, the wounds will remain. But then once this is done, we are able to discover the rebel. The rebel is the emperor, is the one that has been is holding his light really high, and he's got an eagle on his shoulder, which is the symbol of heaven, and he's breaking the chain that was holding him back. So the rebel is not something that conforms to society. He's conforming to his own truth. It is very important for you to stand by your truth, whatever highest truth you have. Be gentle and loving in expressing it, but be strong and firm. Do not compromise your truth, and you do whatever you can to break free of whatever conditioning, so that you can be the emperor of your life. And finally, to overcome this idea of postponement, because this card is the final outcome, is delay. This card is the same outcome than my previous reading in French, is the inner voice. So it is about following the inner voice. Your inner voice is you talking. There are many voices within ourselves. We want to let all the voices being expressed, even if they are not what we want. We still want, even inside or outside of us, we want to allow every voice, whether it is inside, even the bad thoughts, we want to let them happen. We do not want to suppress them, otherwise that means we haven't will be confronted with them again. But they have to be expressed, and then once we let everything being expressed, the truth comes out. The inner voice, the higher voice, the soul is able to come through. And so pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your dreams. And do whatever you can to follow that. Know that the true you is living on the true you, which is the soul, the eternal you, is living on is a being that you probably have not completely discovered yet you have to trust that this being has total love and understanding for you, for it is you, and so it is guiding you, it is programming experiences for you, so that you may free yourself at the end. And so you can trust your inner voice and know that this is the most important voice to listen to, is your inner voice. This is what will lead you to your salvation through love, unity, and patience as well, and perseverance, and all those things that we need. But all of the time is not really exist. So we can, at any time, we can change anything. It is a matter of faith, beliefs, and desire, and allowing and trusting the universe to work as one with all those invisible forces. Well, I hope this reading was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for your sharing, for subscribing, for commenting, and for your messages. I will come back because I wanted to discuss a few things as well, but this video is already pretty long. I hope this was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Namaste.